Hi, everybody, and welcome to Substack podcast, one of these infrequent little podcasts that I do. If you enjoy listening to these, by the way, on Substack, do check them out over on my podcast channel, where you'll get them every day if you're looking to have different insights over there. But the one that I wanted to talk to you about today on Sunday, the 30th of March, and by the way, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. I wanted to talk about what appears to have been an assassination attempt on Vladimir Putin. I don't know if you saw this, but basically, one of his limos exploded in Moscow, and you can read into that what you want. Well, it's one of these kind of large, monstrous uh, vehicles, and it's one that it's not the only one that he has. He's obviously got a fleet of them, but one of these limos exploded, caught fire in Moscow, and isn't it interesting that? This happens just a few days after Zelensky was pontificating that he thought Putin would probably die soon. What do you think? What do you think? I'll tell you what I think. I think that the Ukrainian regime is an absolutely monstrous regime. It's not just journalists in America it kills. If it could, it would kill the Russian president. And it demonstrates to me as well that this Ukrainian regime, it doesn't want peace. How can anyone be so silly as to think that it wants peace? It wants to, because it's driven by globalists. It's driven by the globalist war machine. It wants to keep the grift going. It wants to keep the killing going. It doesn't care how many hundreds of thousands of dead Ukrainians there are. It's irrelevant. It just wants to see the slaughter continue. And in pursuance of that, it's very happy to assassinate President Putin and anyone else that gets in its way, I think. The interesting thing will be, how will Putin respond to this, do you think? I mean, a well aimed hypersonic missile up the posterior of Zelensky might be one way to do that. Thus far, I feel that the restraint of Putin has been incredible, given the provocation coming from NATO backed Ukraine. It's been unbelievable. I think that's because Putin is very strategic the way he thinks. And that said, though, I mean, this to me, this is quite blatant. Now, obviously, I'm sure this will have been done in the usual way to try and make sure that it cannot be tracked back to Kiev and to the Kiev authorities. But you can be certain that this was exactly who was behind it. And for all I know, there may be certain three-letter agencies helping them out. I don't know exactly, but if Vladimir Putin had been in that limo and it had gone up, so would he, and that would have been then a confirmation of what Zelensky just said the other day. So we shall watch with interest what the Russian response is. I mean, I've seen Russia talking about the fact that they don't really see how there can be any way forward with Ukraine. Their suggestion is that there needs to be an intervention and that the UN needs to intervene and form some kind of temporary government in Ukraine, which would allow for elections. The reason that Russia wants to see that is that if the Ukrainian people get the chance, they will vote Zelensky out. Zelensky knows that. That's why Zelensky doesn't want elections. And yet the West keeps bleating on about, oh, we have to stand with Zelensky to fight for democracy. This is the very Zelensky who actually prevents democracy. Talk about inversion. That's exactly what's going on in Ukraine, and that's exactly why the Ukrainian regime is capable of anything. And the fact that ever since the dressing down in the Oval Office a few weeks back, Zelensky's reverted to strutting around the world stage again. He doesn't go to America because he knows what would happen to him there, but he can go to Paris, he can go to London. He's hailed and lionized by all the Euro cucks as if he were some kind of glorious leader. He's not, he's the most obnoxious, hateful individual I can imagine. And I'm with the Russians in the sense of I don't think we can get a peace while Zelensky is in the in the presidential office in Kiev. So anyway, another assassination attempt on Putin. coming days after Zelensky forecast that Putin would die soon makes you think, doesn't it? Thanks for listening.